Okay. First of all, the bad news. You are not going to learn how to develop a new Zentyal module in 30 minutes. It's impossible. But I just want to try to show you how easy it can be with a little knowledge. And well, probably to wake up some interest on you. So after some days, you can download the how-tos, the tutorials, and start contributing or solving your problems. The thing is, we don't have ready yet tutorials. I mean, we published, Jorge published the first chapter of the series of development how-tos. The first chapter just tells you how to download the source and build the package and that's all. But we have some, you will see, we have some obsolete documentation from all Evox platform versions, and you can already start looking at it. But we will, I promise, we will update all that documentation very quickly soon. So why you want me to add a new functionality to Zentyal or start developing a new model? If you have custom needs, I mean that the features included in Zentyal are not enough for your needs to solve your problems for your company. You of course can't wait to the Zentyal developers to do that for you. Well, of course, until you pay for that. unless sorry, you pay for that. But if you don't want to pay, your only choice remaining is to develop your own module.
Or pay for that.
And the thing with Zentyal is that it's really flexible. I mean, if you try Zentyal and you say, oh, it seems good for my need, but if it had this module that I need, okay, don't be afraid. It's not difficult to add that functionality. I mean, you don't have to start looking for another solution. Maybe it's better to just integrate this new functionality you need in Zentyal. And of course, developing a new module or just adding new features can be useful also if you want to contribute to the project and make those changes available for the whole community. Okay. Well, it's as I say, I think it's really easy, but of course you need some knowledge, as you will see. A minimum of little knowledge, and sometimes more important, much more important. The difficulty of developing a new module of functionality is not the Zentyal code itself, it's knowing which problem, how to solve the problem you want to. I mean, for example, if you want to implement a traffic balance feature, the difficulty is not going to be in the Perl code. The difficulty is knowing which IP tables or TC commands you have to run in the shell. I mean, usually the difficult part is understanding which services you are managing, and how to integrate with the rest of the system and that kind of. Okay, so let's see first, have an overview of how Zentyal works. Zentyal stores his configuration in Redis. Redis is a k-value database. It had to write the configuration of the service Zentyal manages. We use some templates. I mean, we don't write the file directly, adding setting with lines we need to write on it. It's use a template on what Zentyal passes some parameters, some variables, and some values. And it usually has some conditions. I mean, if that variable is set to true, add that line, or not added, or that. Also, to integrate with to cooperate with the rest of the system, Zentyal needs to run commands, usually as root, as user with privileges, like the tables command I was telling you. Also, it needs to manage the daemons using, or I need the scripts or after scripts, and that's more or less all. And this is how a Zentyal module is structured at file system level. Inside of each module, you have a schema subdirectory where on a YAML file, well, probably. I invite you to follow with the slides, and we'll see this example later. I think it will be less context changes because I'm not I'm not very ready to start making context changes because I'm not seeing here what. I'm sorry. Also, if the module is a module that needs to integrate with LDAP, probably you need to have LDAP schemas in LDIF format with the object classes, the definition of which attributes have those object classes. Also, if the module needs to integrate with the logs module in Zentyal, he will need to store the parsed log files into the SQL database that Zentyal provides. So you will have to also provide the schema of the tables that needs to be. Sorry. And there is also a scripts directory with some scripts that are executed on the first installation of the module, the initial setup one, when enable the module. These scripts are usually in Bash or Perl, but they are just executable files that can be written in any language. So if you want to write the enable script in Python, it's perfectly possible, but it's not usual to do that. As you have to write Perl sooner or later if you want to develop. For example, at least by now. And the stubs directory is very important. It's where configuration templates are stored. Well, I think Carlos in his previous presentation has already told you about this, how to customize templates. And the real code of the Zentyal module. Every module has to have a main class where most of the module code is written, and it also has classes for the models. I mean, as we are going to see, Zentyal has a model view controllers framework, so you just write which data you want to store on a page of the Zentyal interface, on a form or a table, and you just say, well, I need one IP address type, I need an integer type, a text type, and you just specify that as we will see in the example. And the view of the HTML page is automatically generated. I mean, you don't have to write HTML code to add features to the Zentyal interface. So models are contained are built from types, and composites is a way we have to group or organize models. I mean, we can have a composite with 3 tabs, one model on each tabs, or a top-down composite, putting the models one after the other. Modules can also define dashboard widgets to be to the dashboard or as any other of the widgets that are already coming by default with Zentyal. There are also some other stuff to integrate with the rest of the Zentyal modules, like the log helpers, to define which layout has to have the database to store the logs, firewall helpers to tell the firewall module, I need to listen on port 25 in the case of the mail module, and that configuration file templates, and as we are trying to rewrite everything with the model view controller, but are still probably 5% of Zentyal code or something like that has also some of the old CGIs and HTML templates that were written before the new MVC module was introduced. So an example of this are some models that are not really models of the network module, like the network interface pages. I'm telling you this because if you really want to put your hands on the Zentyal development, probably you will find if you need to make a change on a module that still has the old CGI's implementation, you will probably find that. But it's not really difficult. And well, some stuff you show now, if you want to really work with this, is Perl, Bash, because there are some scripts, not too much Bash code, but you need to understand it. HTML, of course, a bit of JavaScript, Ajax, but just only if you want to add new functionality on the interface. I mean, generally it's not needed. I mean, that's only if you want to have the core of Zentyal. Mason is the template system, as you have seen in the talk by Carlos, but you don't really need to know Mason. I mean, it's really simple. You edit the templates and you will see that it's just some small pieces of code like loops and if conditionals, and that's all. Well, you need to know a bit of subversion, at least for checking out the code, if you really want to contribute and to make commits someday, but it's not really a showstopper. And a bit of Debian packaging. I mean, as you know, every Zentyal module has to be a dev file, and while developing, you need also to use other tools like SSH, SCP to copy your dev file you have just built to the Zentyal machine and install it. Okay. So this is the first how-to that Jorge published, the first chapter of the series of development how-tos. I'm not sure if I'm able to show. I'm seeing it on my screen, but I was happy with GNOME too. I'm a loser, I know.
It works fine with Unity, you know.
Well, you can just, as we are going to upload the slides, you will be able to see the how-to. You can also easily find it going to the index of the track. Probably it's linked also in the main documentation page in the development section. And you can also have a look at how Zentyal code looks, just browsing the code without downloading. There is an integrated code viewer in our track. Also, I think it even colors the code, the syntax. And as the how to explain, the tool used to build a Zentyal package is called Zentyal package. Okay. To create a new module, there is the old, a bit obsolete how-to that was written to a former developer. We will really promise we will update it. We are giving this talk, and you are probably willing to contribute. We have to do it. And CTMODEV is the tool that you can easily use, as we will see in the example, to create a module, example module. And these are just some of the, well, not some, all of them, all the commands that CTMODEV includes to create the full skeleton of the module. create a model, a composite, add types to a model, or add configuration files. Okay, so let's see some action. How time is left, more or less, to know Nacho? Where is Nacho? We don't have estimation about the time. Well, let's
Go ahead. No worry.
Okay. Well, I'm going first. I'm going to show you how a Zentyal module looks. How is that size is okay or probably too big?
No, it's okay. It's okay.
It's okay, night.
Okay, let's see. The FTP module is probably the tiniest one. Yeah, I think it is. Here you can see some of the directories I was telling you about, the schemas, the source stuff. Let's start with the stuff that already Carlos told you about it. Well, you see, first of all, you receive the arguments, the variables that are going to be used here. As you can see, it's really simple. If the module enable anonymous mode is disabled in the Zentyal interface, just anonymous equal or no, anonymous equal to yes. Really simple. The difficult, as I said, is understanding how the service works. There is no difficult at all to. You don't need to be a hacker for write this. In fact, you just copy the original file of the FTP server and add the arguments there and implement your logic. Okay. The main module class. Okay, this is the inheritance. This module is a service. It means that he's able to manage daemons. In this case, the PSPPD daemon. It's also a model provider. It has model to show on the interface. Implements also the firewall observer to tell the firewall which port is being used by the module. This is just the constructor. I'm not sure how are your programming skills, but well, yeah, you need to know programming to write a Zentyal module. That's true. You will see that Zika model tool eases a bit the process, but in the end, if you want to know how to write the code, okay. As you can see, Zentyal framework is really easy. I mean, if you want your model to appear an entry in the Zentyal menu, you just implement the Zentyal menu. Usually, you don't need to implement this from the scratch. You just take an existing Zentyal module and copy paste the code of the menu and just change the name of the item. It's on the right. Well, it's using the printable name variable, which is already defined in the constructor. It goes under the infrastructure separator, and this is the URL that is going to link when you click. Just the list of models included in this module. Just one here. We can see how it looks. Options. The important method. Well, this let's close. This by customizer method, this is an advanced one to just tell Zentyal that if I click on this field, I want to hide or show or disable elements on the interface. Well, we have also validators to check if we are using some incompatible options and to throw a exception. So Zentyal don't save the code and warns the user. These are just helper methods to the important table method. I'm going to show you now. This is the model view controller essence. I mean, you just tell I have a Boolean type I don't have to define how this is going to be to look on the interface. Zentyal will do the work for me, will generate automatically the view, the HTML code. You can define some attributes to the types, if it's editable or read only, if it's default value, that kind of stuff. And well, not much. These are just helper methods for convenience to have a shorter API when interacting with the module, and that's all. And well, I'm going to show you now how the Zentyal tool works. That's fine. First, terminal here.
You don't feel like programming.
I like this.
Maybe you don't maximize it.
Yeah. I'm trying to restore the region. Oh, okay. But what is the fucking pointer? I'm not used to work with an external monitor. I'm just working always with my laptop. Oh. You see, I click, don't hear Jaime.
Close this one.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Probably good idea. Well, I'm trying something different to see if I can clone the image to see the same in both. Probably not going to work, or probably. Oh. Well, only one screen now. I mean, this is blank, so. Oh. But probably. Well, we need just two commands to create a simple module. We have already the Zentyal dev tool installed here in this machine. It's not published, the Zentyal dev tool for Zentyal 2.2. It will be published along with the updated how-tos. Hope it will be really soon. You can find the one for previous versions. I hope you won't need to wait much longer. So this will be the thing. Where's the size? Okay, you see it? Yes, we are passing just the name of the module that will generate a Zentyal-my-module package, and the name of the main class, which is usually the same name, but in camel case. Don't care about the warnings. This is under development still. But it has generated an empty skeleton for the module with all the necessary stuff. And we are just going to add a new model without writing any code. So the Zentyal model command, I have to tell you again which is the name of the main class. We are going to call it settings, name of the form, and we are specifying two fields, a boolean field called full and an integer field called bar. And that's all. We can already build the Zentyal package of this module. install it. The Apache server is already restarted, so well, if we visit now the Zentyal interface, we should be able to Okay, as we didn't add the menu entry under any separator, the Zentyal tool has an additional command line, -- separator or something like that. It has appeared just on the top of the menu. And here we have the form. Well, I had the module installed previously in the machine, so it already has some values working in the Redis configuration. We can. Well, I think that I don't know how much time is left, but if you have questions now, I think it's
I think you have time. You have like 10 or 15 minutes if you wish, or
well,
other questions.
Let's see if there are questions,
Yeah.
and if there are no questions, maybe I can do anything else.
We can also start with Mateo's presentation.
Okay, I can show more stuff if you want. I'm not sure how interested they are. Any question first, or do you want to show? Do you want me to show anything else? Yeah.
You show the graphic, the AML graphic.
El formato YAML, el esquema.
Yes.
English.
Sorry. Just look at the YAML file of the FTP module. Well, if you use the Zentyal tool, it's automatically created, but you need to create it by hand. It looks like this. It just tells Zentyal, which is the main class of this module, and it says that to enable the FTP module, you have to have enabled first the user module. There are other types of depends here, restore depends for the backup, and normal depends for the order of restarting services when saving changes. Okay. Any other question? Do you want to see anything else, or are you already tired of me?
Can you show us the various files that have been created by the Zmod?
Yeah.
Because you showed us that you have used 2 parameters in the command line,
Yeah.
so we can have a look at how it's created.
Well, a lot of files here. Well, there is some auto-tool stuff that has been already built in the same directory. Not all that stuff is the Debian packets. Let's see what it is. Well, the schema file has been created just with the main class. The main module. The main class of the module with the settings model already included in the model classes method. Well, it also includes a default composite that it's empty methods like enable actions if you want to use them. The menu, everything has been created automatically. It is Zentyal Dev uses also Mason templates to create all these per files. Any other question? Probably we should already pass to Mateo.
Yeah,
my presentation.
As you wish.
Okay.